From Beastly Kingdom and Animal Kingdom, which was supposed to showcase mythical creatures, to WestCOT over in California, which was supposed to be a West Coast Epcot, there are a lot of Disney projects that fell apart, and we've got a bunch to share with you today. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog, and today we're going to talk about a few Disney projects that actually had funding and were moving forward, but then for some reason fell apart and never came to pass. To start out, we're going to talk about Hyperion Wharf. So this is one that many of you might have heard of if you're Disney fans and have been Disney fans for a while. We know that Downtown Disney in Disney World had a tough couple of years after Pleasure Island lost the Adventurers Club back in 2008. And we were left with basically a dead zone between the marketplace and the west side, and those buildings sat empty for several years. Now, Paradiso 37 opened in 2009, but overall, the area had nothing going on. Now, Disney announced plans for Hyperion Wharf in November 2010, and the concept was a remodel of the Pleasure Island area. It was supposed to be, quote, a nostalgic yet modern take on an early 20th century port city and amusement pier. And it was supposed to incorporate plenty of additional shopping and dining locations. Now, this was essentially a Band-Aid remodel just to spruce up that single section of Downtown Disney, and there'd still be 3 separate non-cohesive areas in Downtown Disney. Construction, or demolition, of Pleasure Island started in February 2011 and then abruptly stopped, until March 2013 when Disney Springs was announced. This would be a complete overhaul of all of Downtown Disney, and we've got to say it was definitely the right decision. Next project that never came to pass, that Downtown Disney Hotel that was just canceled recently. So in March 2018, it was announced that a new 4-star resort would be coming to Disneyland's Downtown Disney and set to open in 2021. Now, several restaurants and retail locations in Downtown Disney closed in order to build this hotel, including the AMC Theaters, Rainforest Cafe, ESPN Zone, and Earl of Sandwich, which, by the way, has since reopened. Originally, Disneyland and the City of Anaheim had agreed upon a hotel located north of Downtown Disney, where they're now working on those parking garages. Now, we're not sure what happened, whether there was a tax situation, i.e. moving the hotel to Downtown Disney meant it was no longer eligible for tax incentives, or that there was another type of situation with the City of Anaheim itself. Either way, Disney has scrapped those plans and intends to bring back food and entertainment venues to the area. Next one, we want to talk about Port Disney. So Port Disney, announced in 1990, was a planned resort area in Long Beach, California, with a marine-themed amusement park, marina, and cruise ship port. The RMS Queen Mary would have stayed as a focal point of the resort. Now, the theme park was to be called Disney Sea and would be opened in 2000, with an expansion completed by 2010. When the plans were scrapped, the name and some of the ideas from this theme park were taken to Tokyo Disney Sea, which opened in 2001. And in 1991, the decision was made to abandon Port Disney in favor of WestCOT, which is the next failed project that we want to talk about. WestCOT is pretty much exactly what you think it might be. It's Epcot, but on the West Coast. So there were to be clones of Epcot attractions in Future World, like Journey into Imagination, a World Showcase, likely with different countries, and a much larger replica of Spaceship Earth, 300 feet versus Disney World's 180-foot Spaceship Earth. Now, Disneyland would have needed to acquire lots of land for this project, plus convincing local residents that a 300-foot Spaceship Earth wasn't an eyesore. So the plan didn't end up working out, and instead the park became California Adventure. Disney's America. Disney was also considering a theme park in Virginia called Disney's America. And this was supposed to be sort of a Knott's Berry Farm in California concept, with American history as the theme. Now, rides were developed for this park, but they weren't completely abandoned. You can find Soarin', Grizzly River Run, and California Screamin', which is now the Incredicoaster, in Disneyland as a benefit of the plans for Disney's America. Next, the SS Disney. Now, for better or worse, Michael Eisner, who was the CEO of the Walt Disney Company from 1984 to 2005, led some pretty crazy ideas for theme parks in the early 90s. Probably the most ambitious was a concept for a floating theme park. This one was intended to be built on an oil tanker. That was the only thing big enough. And the SS Disney would be able to accommodate roughly 10,000 passengers with 5 decks and 18 attractions like It's a Small World, Space Mountain, Star Tours, Dumbo the Flying Elephant, Mad Hatter's Teacups, and Roger Rabbit's Toontown Spin. The ship would dock at ports around the world for 3 to 4 months at a time, and now this obviously didn't end up happening, but we did get the Disney Cruise Line, which set sail in 1998. Next thing we want to chat about are a couple of resorts in Disney World. Now, there were several resorts planned for the Magic Kingdom resort area that never came to be. The Grand Floridian sits where a Thai-themed Asian resort was intended to be built. It was expected to open in 1974. And 2 more resorts were supposed to open along with the Contemporary and Polynesian on opening day, a Persian and Venetian resort. Obviously, neither happened, but there is a Venetian-inspired resort in Tokyo Disney Sea, and in the 90s, plans shifted to revisit a Mediterranean-themed resort at Disney World, which likely laid the groundwork for Disney's Riviera resort opening this winter. And now we've got to talk about a few of the lands that never came to be. These are extra parks that were never actually built onto Disney World and Disneyland. First up was Beastly Kingdom and Animal Kingdom. This was intended for the area in the park that is now Pandora. And Beastly Kingdom was supposed to be a land featuring mythical animals. Rides were developed for this, like Dragon Tower, a dragon-themed roller coaster, but things didn't pan out. Imagineers were laid off, and those Imagineers actually took the plans to another Central Florida theme park. And I think you know which one I mean. Next, Big City U.S.A. This was a New York City-styled area for where Toontown currently is in Disneyland, and went on to inspire American Waterfront in Tokyo Disney Sea, complete with the Broadway show they had planned. Another one is Discovery Bay at Disneyland, a Jules Verne and H.G. Wells inspired land that went on to inspire Tokyo Disney Sea and Disneyland Paris. Also on the chopping block in Indiana Jones Land, which was intended for Disneyland, with rerouted Jungle Cruise and railroad that would wind through Indy's Land. And there was supposed to be a Liberty Street Disneyland. Now this one was scrapped in Disneyland, but became a whole land, Liberty Square, in Magic Kingdom. Now let's talk about World Showcase. All of the pavilions that have been rumored for World Showcase. There's always rumors about new countries coming to Epcot. When the park first opened, it was advertised that Equatorial Africa, Israel, and Spain pavilions would be coming. And since then, there's been rumors and sometimes even concept art suggesting we would see a Soviet Union, Puerto Rico, or Brazil pavilion. Now, even with the current expansion of World Showcase, there are still a few plots of land where new countries could fit, so one day we might have some new lands in Epcot to explore. Next land that fell apart was Muppet Studios. Muppet Courtyard was intended to be an entire land with a great Muppet movie ride, plus a Swedish chef restaurant and Gonzo's Pizza Parlor, which I guess sort of came to pass here with Pizza Rizzo. Jim Henson's death in 1990 put a hold on the project, although we did get that pizza restaurant. And Roger Rabbit's Hollywood, a land designed for the area Rock and Roller Coaster currently stands in. Disney couldn't reach a deal with Steven Spielberg's company, but we still have a call out to Roger Rabbit and Hollywood Studios. You can catch his silhouette in the windows above Hollywood and Vine, and rides for the land were developed, and one ended up becoming Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin in Disneyland and Tokyo Disneyland. And finally, Tomorrowland 2055. Keeping Tomorrowland in the future is definitely a difficult feat. In the 90s, there were plans to update the land to Tomorrowland 2055 and make it an alien spaceport. A nighttime parade for Disney World was even developed to replace the Main Street Electrical Parade. And sadly, the only thing that came from this proposed project was the extraterrestrial alien encounter, which has since become Stitch's Great Escape, which is currently pretty much closed. So there are a few big Disney projects that were funded, and some were even starting on construction when they hit the chopping block. So we always like to look back at the history of Disney and see where some of those projects actually ended up. It's kind of fun. So thanks for listening, you guys, and thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments your Disney history knowledge. Is there anything that you would have been excited to see coming from all of these potential projects? We'd love to hear about it. This is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.